Welcome everybody. It's great to see we had so many people signed up to this today. As you can see from my hands and my face, I'm dual screening and doing two things at once. So today we are going to make 3 Christmas crafts, and then I'm going to give you some ideas for a couple of other little things to do. The first thing we're going to make before, as I said to the girls, I burn my house down, are these little tea light lanterns. So these are just made from jam jars. I'll put that one down there in the screen as well. And it's very simple, very simple craft to make. This one, the light's just gone out, but it's a little bit of holly on it, etc., and some lovely misted kind of snow decoration. So let me just get my tray full of goodies. So to start with, what you're going to need, this is my little tray here of bits. So to start with, you need a jam jar. So I started with one like this, which was just a jar of olives, took the lid off, obviously, and then took the label off. So the ways of taking the label off, some of the best ways of taking the label off are to use like either soak it overnight in olive oil or just a regular kind of oil, anything like that. Rub the oil into the label. And that will help it come off a lot easier than when you go to take the whole thing off. Otherwise, it's a little bit of elbow grease and just a little bit of rubbing, or failing that, a little bit of white spirit is always a very good idea as well, because that helps to get it off. So here is my lovely clean jam jar. And if you recycle jam jars, it is a brilliant way of reusing them, because glass often does get recycled, and it gets recycled into recycled glass items. However, some glass still gets what we call downcycled and ends up in like tarmac for roads and things like that. So it's a great idea if you can reuse your jam jars. I use them. My husband is probably like fed up of the fridge, but the fridge has everything from, you know, sweet corn to leftovers or whatever, all end up in jam jars because I hate using plastic. That said, I have put my salt into some plastic. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to get a Tupperware or a tray like this. I have a tray here, but I think it's best to keep the stuff inside a Tupperware or something. So this is just regular coarse salt, and I just got quite a lot of it. I find that this is the best one. Regular table salt is also fine, but just for the kind of really sort of festive look that you get from the really kind of snow sprinkle, I think that the kind of coarse salt, or, you know, rock salt, stuff that you would use in your grinder, is probably better. So to start, what we do is we take the jam jar and we get a little bit of PVA glue, which is what I have down here in a little ramekin, and I have a big brush. Again, you can use an old toothbrush. I have lots of bamboo toothbrushes that I use. You can use anything really that will get your PVA or Mod Podge onto the jar, and you just paint it onto the jar like this. The Americans call it Mod Podge, I believe. But it's basically what we call it, it's PVA, and we give it a nice coating of PVA. Now you can use Pritt Stick for this as well, but I find that the PVA is much better at sticking. So I start by just layering the glue all the way over, and this is a great little present like as well to give people, and you can give them with, you know, scented candles on the inside, the little tea lights, whatever takes your fancy. And you can also, you know, decorate with whatever you like. So here I have, on this one, we have a little bit of rosemary, which is actually from my garden, which is great because then when it burns, you get the lovely scent of rosemary. Now I'm just going to switch to the top so that I don't get my hands too gluey. But here we go. Basically, you are just putting the glue all the way around the jam jar. I feel a bit like Blue Peter here doing this. So we just pop it all the way around the jar. This is the most time-consuming bit. After this, it's pretty much all plain sailing and fairly quick. So I've gone all the way around. That's the thing about doing a craft along live webinar. You can't get. And here's one I made earlier. So okay, and I'm going to put my brush over there. The other thing is with the brush, just make sure that you do wash it out as quickly as possible afterwards, because it is PVA. It will peel off, so it'll come off the brush eventually, but it'll just be quite difficult to brush, you know, to clean it. So it's a good idea to do that as soon as you can. And then you're going to get your jar and you're going to gently push it into, hear that lovely crunching sound? I hope you can. It's like walking in snow. And you gently turn it and keep pressing the snow or the salt into the jar like this. And the benefit of having it inside something small like this is that the salt doesn't push out. Like, unless you're going to have the tray full, if you have it in a confined space, then it means you don't sort of get like a flat bottom where the jar makes contact with the bottom of the thing and not with snow. So let's see how we're doing. I'm going to give it a little shake. So we're going to go all the way around. And then what I do as well, just if I look at any areas where I think, yeah, I could do with a little bit more, just kind of press it down. And then this is the mucky part. So you just get your hands and gently press the salt onto the jar so that it sticks and makes contact with the glue as much as possible. So push this on like this and keep pushing all the way around so that eventually your jam jar is covered well and truly in salt. And then the last thing to do when you've done that is to give a little tap to make sure any excess comes off. So I'm going to leave this on here because I might actually end up with salt everywhere. So what I'm going to do is just wipe my hands. There we go. So, and then the next thing to do is I have got another little sprig of rosemary. You can see that there. I'm going to put just the one on this one, and let's have a look at my bit of string. Is that going to be long enough? Yeah, I think so. So there are two ways to do this. Okay, sometimes it's better to just tie the piece of string on first, and I have made little bows out of mine, but you can just use knots or whatever. What I normally do is do one turn. You can see I've just done one turn there, and then I actually tie the bit of greenery on with another turn. If you can see that, maybe I'll do it this way. So you can hear a little bit of salt coming off. So that's a good idea to, there we go, we'll just put it that way. And then we'll go over again. And this just means that the smell of the rosemary is amazing. Makes me think of Sunday lunch. Right. So then you've tied it on like that. And then you can choose to do either a little bow, mine's a little bit short this time, or what you can do on this one, I've tied it round the side, or you can tie it around the back if you don't want the bow to show at the front. So then there you have it. And then you just take your tea light and you pop it in the middle, and you can give it away as a lovely gift. So we'll pop those up here, and I'll just add that to that one. So we've got lots of lovely jars, and I'll just blow this one out so as not to set the house on fire. So that's how to make a lovely lantern, and you can do everything. These ones, I would say, just be careful because they do get hot around the top with tea lights. So just if you have kids in the house or whatever, just to make sure, you know, they don't, I mean, obviously they wouldn't be going close to naked flames, etc. But just to be very careful, because this has been on for what, half an hour or less, and it's still quite warm. So just to be careful and mindful of that. It is always a good idea to use a jar that has quite an opening at the top rather than closed, because that way you get much more air circulating. But just be careful, obviously, not to put it underneath anything that it might catch fire to. So, okay. So that's the lovely lanterns. And now what we're going to show you is some fabulous cards that we have made. And cards are brilliant. What I normally do is I keep a whole load of cards. I keep a whole load of cards from the previous Christmas that we've got given. So we normally get, I don't know about anybody else, but I normally get somewhere around 40 cards or something a year. That's an awful lot of cards and plastic. Often some of them have glitter on them as well. And if you can manage not to use glitter in any of your crafts, I know it's, you know, bling and brilliant and it's fabulous at Christmas and we all want to use that extra bit of sparkle. But if you can imagine that microplastics are a glitter is actually a microplastic. So it's better if you can avoid it, or there are actually some biodegradable glitters, but I would prefer not to use it. So what we've done here is we've just got some recycled craft cards. So these are cards that you can get from eBay. Ideally, don't buy from Amazon if you can avoid it. Their record on looking after their staff, etc., isn't great. But eBay, and then lots of craft. I think I shared before, for anybody in Dublin, this Ecoland have them. So this is just simply, this one here, very simple. It's just basically cut up an old Christmas card from last year. This is a one of my children's, and they love doing this. They love, so if you it's very difficult at the moment, but if you could do this even over Zoom with some kids that or your nieces and nephews or whatever, this is brilliant. So I'm going to show you a couple of ones and then we're going to make them. So here's another one, again made out of last year's wrapping. I'm a bit fastidious when it comes to unwrapping stuff. I like to kind of make sure the paper is kept and used again, certainly. And then we have this one, which has that's my daughter's handwriting. She made that one. I actually used this paper here, which I thought was beautiful. This was actually, I got this recently when I went to my local coffee shop, and I got a brownie, and it was wrapped up in this, and I've just literally picked the bits that weren't covered in brownie and reused it to make the baubles on the card. So that's that one. And then this one is a tree. I'm a bit mad about trees. So this is using a lollipop stick all the way down, stuck all the way down, and then different bits of ribbon, again, that leftovers from last year, etc. That's been used. And then I'll go to those in a minute. And then again, trees. This is again last year's Christmas card cut up. So we're going to just show you how to do that one because it's a very simple card. And let's see, what else have we got here? Oh yes, this is one of my favorite ones. This is if you are a bit like me and you have a load of buttons that you've kept, or like, somebody like your nan has a whole load of buttons that she's kept. This I think is brilliant. It's got buttons and you literally just draw a pen line with a tiny little bit where the bauble would meet, and then a little ribbon. And that's how you make the cards and make little baubles. So you can use lots of different buttons and different things, but I thought that was good. The only thing I would potentially do is I would write on the back of the card and say, please remove my buttons before recycling, because obviously it won't be able to go fully into the recycling bin. So it's great to be using stuff up, to just be mindful when you're giving it to the person to tell them maybe how to dispose of it, or could they cut it up and give it to somebody else in next year's card? That could be a thing to do as well. So just to show you what we're going to do with these cards here. So because we give and receive something like 40 million cards in the UK, it's crazy over Christmas, absolutely crazy amount of cards. So obviously you can do virtual cards. I think lots of people do. So what you need to do is, these are all my old Christmas cards from last year, and I'm just going to pop those away. I think we'll pick, yeah, that one looks really cute actually. Let's have that one. And the cards, when you get them in the packet, and hopefully this is not teaching anyone how to suck eggs, but they come like this. They're already kind of flat. I'll just push that over the way. And what you need to do is, when you make the card, you need to fold it along the crease, and brilliantly, with when you buy these packs of cards, if you like, made from recycled paper, they come already sort of, I suppose, half, imprinted with a fold. The best thing to do is to get a pair of scissors, and with your pair of scissors, you run the back of the scissors down the edge of the card like this, and that just creates a nice edge, and means that the card folds over properly rather than, springing out all the time. And sometimes I go over the other side as well, just to make sure it's all done. So here's one I made earlier, said Blue Peter. This was actually, again, a Christmas card from last year, and horror of horrors, it does have a little bit of glitter on it. I don't know if you can see that, but you can't have everything. So I'll pop that over there for the minute. So what you need to do is basically cut a triangle out of the card, essentially. So I'm going to look at this pretty bird one here, and I'm going to probably try and make two We haven't got that many cards left over because I've used them in so many crafts. So I'm going to cut that up there. Okay, so there we have our triangle, and I'm going to keep a little bit for the bottom of the tree, and I don't like the white bit, so I'm going to cut that off. And then I'm going to make myself a little snowflake bit for the bottom. So there's the snowflake bit. So this makes a really nice base for the tree. And then when you're cutting this up, let's go with that side. I think that's the best side. Just have a little look at how it fits on. Is there space then for the bottom? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so what I normally do is try and do like a small bit for the top, and then you just keep cutting down the card or your piece of wrapping paper or whatever it is. And, you know, ideally, in an ideal world, you have a ruler and it's all beautiful and lined. But today we are doing it like this. So what you do then is you spread it out on the card. And I'm going to use Pritt Stick because that's the easiest way for me to do it. Oops. And get it open. So I push the Pritt Stick up a little bit so it comes up above the lip of the thing. And then I just rub the Pritt Stick onto the top. And then we just stick it on like that. And then this is the fun part. You're like, which bit was next? It's like a jigsaw, trying to work it out. Okay. So you match that up. And then the next bit. And this bit is the bit that forms, obviously, the tree, which is really pretty. And then where are we next? We've got the birdhouse. There you go. And there are so many different things you can do with cards. In terms of making them. There are so many things on Pinterest. It's great for inspiration, but I like cutting up the cards like this. I think it's a really great way to reuse a card again, and providing it doesn't have too many other bits stuck onto it, it can go straight in the recycling bin and be made into new paper. So there we go. And then, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to use that bit because otherwise I won't have. You can go right to the bottom, like this one with no stem, trunk, or you can have a little. Let me just, there we go. How are we doing for time? Oh, loads of time. Okay. So what we do is we just pop it on like that. So, and then you've got a brilliant recycled card, and it's made out of your cards from last year. So get saving this year on your cards, and make sure that you have lots of little bits that you can use again, because I think it's just a brilliant way of reusing things that we already have. And then another thing that you can do with cards, and the first thing that we did, this is about 5 years ago when I started kind of thinking about all the waste and stuff that we were creating, is to create little gift tags. So again, with leftover card or paper or Christmas cards, this one I have just stuck onto a piece of card anyway. This is just a piece of wrapping paper and just drawn a Christmas tree, and then you just need to get a little hole punch to make the hole punches, make a hole for the to use it as a tag. But ordinarily we just get, so I might just make one now. So I might just decide, okay, let's have a look. This one. So look at this lovely little card here with this fox. So I'd look at this and think, okay, how many tags can I get out of this? And it's just a case of maybe cutting it up into, let's see, you could have a scarf, you could just have the fox's nose. Let's go for the middle. And then literally, let's go for the whole fox like that. Okay. Then literally you just put a little hole in for your piece of ribbon, or you can just sellotape it straight onto the onto your wrapping, and that's your gift tag as well. So it's a brilliant way of doing gift tags as well, which I think, again, you just don't need to buy them. It's just so easy. Who was this one from? Oh, look, it was to my daughter. But then you've got another one there with a little scarf on it, which is great as well. So you don't need to, like have one card per And then you use this bit if you want to, and get some wrapping paper, or like I'm a hoarder, so I keep all bits of wrapping paper and things like that. So you could just cover this over like that and make it into another card as well, or another tag. So that's how to do the tags as well, which I think is always a really good thing, so that you don't lose whose present is whose, which is the main thing. So okie dokie. Right, let me just put those to one side. So those are cards. Now we are going to talk about Christmas crackers. So I have got a couple of crackers here that I made earlier, as per the Blue Peter analogy. So let's just put those over there. And crackers in Ireland, we get through 15 million crackers a year, which is just shocking. Shocking. We're less than a population of 5 million, and we get through 15 million crackers. So that's quite scary in terms of amounts of crackers per person. So there are a couple of ways to do this. Make your own, and there's also Keep This Cracker, which I will show you in a little minute. So what you need to do is, again, it's last year's wrapping paper would be ideal, or it's just this lovely brown crafting paper that you can get from pretty much any craft shop, which is really good, and I like it a lot. It's very, I think it's very Huga, Swedish, whatever. And you can also, so I have these little bits of, let me just take this out of here. If it's going to come out there, because you can also put in, you know, little sprigs of rosemary, etc., into these, which is great. You want to make them look really kind of Scandinavian, that kind of look, I think, is great for on the table at Christmas. So how to make them, right? So I hope you've all been saving your toilet rolls. I have a huge box of them here. So I use, we have toilet roll in this house. Look at this. Our toilet rolls are from Who Gives a Crap, and I don't know if anybody's heard of these guys, but Who Gives a Crap, brilliant Australian name. And what they do is, because the toilet roll is, you know, it's fully recyclable, all that kind of good stuff, but also what they do is they give lots of money to charities and support projects around the world where people don't have access to basic stuff like, you know, toilet facilities, and particularly women who are forced just to go out in the fields. So this is a brilliant, there's two, Who Gives a Crap, and there's a couple of others now as well. But this one is particularly good, and I really like their wrapping, plus it's kind of amusing too. So I think that's what I'm going to use today. But these, I just wanted to show you these two because these are kind of like beautiful and pristine, where the end hasn't gone all crinkly. But today I'm going to use a slightly crinkly one. So I'm just going to put that over there by my advent calendar. So let's see. Okay. Right. Okay. So this is the kind of paper it comes in. A little bit of ribbon down. I've got lots of bits of ribbon that I keep left over. Again, you can use string like I have there. So you can see, I'll just put it this way so we can all read it. Who Gives a Crap? And what I like here is they have trees are for hugging. I shall read you what it says. Trees are for hugging and climbing, and for scared cats, kites, birds, tree houses, swings, snakes, and owls. The list is actually really long, so we're going to stop now, but you should feel good acknowledging that you're not just wiping your bum, but doing so with trees. So yeah, they're crazy, but anyway, it's kind of funny. So what you need to do when you're doing this, you actually need 3 toilet rolls, right? And this might be a lot of loud crackling while we're doing this. So you have this toilet roll on the outside, this toilet roll in the middle, and then we're just going to get the 3rd toilet roll and put it here. Now, my paper is, the toilet rolls are a little bit over the edge. I would prefer, ideally, you make your piece of paper cut to the full width of the 3 toilet rolls, because when the ends squash down, otherwise they get smaller. So what you do is the best thing to do is I have these snaps, which if you want your crackers to have a snap, this is obviously very important. So you can get these again from any crafting places, eBay, I think Ecoland stock them as well. So they're quite a nice thing to have, and I always buy enough for a couple of years so I don't have to buy them twice, because they're sometimes not always the easiest to find unless you want to get them from Amazon. So we're not going to talk about that. So, okay, what I do is I put the, I'm going to put the snap in now, and I'm going to put my contents in. So this is the bit where you can get really, really, what's the word? Inventive with what you put into the cracker. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things that I put in. And I find because these toilet rolls are very small, that I prefer to put my contents in now so that I'm not trying to stuff it in through the edge of the paper. So what I have here is lovely soap, handmade soap, beautiful. There's lots of brilliant Three Hill soap in Ireland, made, you know, no palm oil, all that kind of stuff. Lovely. And it smells like, if only you could smell this. Oh, it's amazing. Fabulous. So soaps are a great thing to put in, right? And also you need a hat. You need your joke, of course, obligatory. The other thing that you can put in is little miniatures. So this one is Blackwater gin. You may have guessed that I am a gin fan. So mini gins, you know, put stuff in rather than all this plastic stuff that we don't need and it's completely wasted and a total waste of time. Just give people individual crackers. So often what I do is I just give a cracker per person, and they have an individual hat and a present inside and a joke and everything, and it's brilliant because they can get what they like without getting a whole load of rubbish that they didn't need. So to put that in, it's normally to try and get the hat around, so squeeze it in like that. We won't put soap in this one. This one will be for somebody who does like a little bit of gin. We'll put our soaps up there, and then you need to squeeze the little snap down the side so that it goes in. And this is, trust me, do this now, because if you try and do it after, it's not going to go well. So, oh, what am I missing? I haven't done the joke. Where's the joke? Brilliant. Okay, so this is great fun. Okay, you don't have to do Christmas jokes. You can do whatever you like. This is probably a very bad one that I wrote, or my daughter wrote. Okay, what do you call a polar bear with earmuffs? Anything. He can't hear you. Okay, if there was sound on, you'd all be going, oh, and there'd be lots of groans. So you pop your joke in there as well. I'm going to pop it alongside the little gin. And just to show you, these are the hats that we make out of newspaper. So this one happens to be from last year, believe it or not. My brother got very creative, and I'm not quite sure whose face that is stuck onto the horse. Oh no, it's a deer, it's a stag. But you can get the newspaper. You could do so many funny things with this. You could do COVID jokes, you could do Trump stuff. Just keep an eye out for bits of newspaper and stuff like that. And you can use, I mean, you don't have to use newspaper. You can use, you know, you can make who gives a crap hats. You could make anything, and you can get really creative with how they look. So let's just try this one on for size. Oh yeah, I think that was made to fit my head actually. So yeah, so you can get really creative with you know, like I said, COVID, or yeah, we have to have jokes about it, or you know, stuff that's happened this year, or you know, something that the person likes, or all that kind of stuff. So that's how to make the hats. Yeah, it looks pretty ridiculous, but anyway, it's Christmas, right? So carry on. The next thing to do, once we have got all our bits in a row like this, slide that on there. Now, this is the tricky part, right? I've got a slightly ripped bit there. So let me see. I'm gonna cut mine up because I don't think I need all of that. And you don't need too much. And ideally you cut a long line here. And because I know that this is the straight edge. I'm going to start this way because I want a bit about the trees on the outside. So this is the bit where you just need to be a little bit careful. So start rolling, and I'm going to use sellotape, which I need to find. How are we doing for time? Oh yeah, because we might have time for a few questions at the end. Okay, so you can see that the toilet rolls are sticking out over the edge. I mean, ideally your piece of paper is goes up to the edge of the toilet rolls, but it shouldn't matter too much. So just roll all the way till we get to the trees are for hugging. Now, you can use just Pritt stick. I find using sellotape is most efficient when there's only one of you to do it. You have two people and someone else can put their hand on it while you do it. Then you need to feel for where the break is, where the other bit of, can you see that? Where the break is. So when you pull this one out a little bit, and then let's put another little bit here. And this is proper sellotape, right? And proper sellotape is made from cellulose, which is actually biodegradable. So it depends where you get your sellotape from, but the original sellotape was made from plant cellulose. So, and ideally then it can all go in the bin. So if you just tease it out a little bit, you can feel for where the gaps are. Just put a little line so that you know more or less where it is. Okay, so I know it's there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got these bits of ribbon that again will, knowing me, get reused 20 times. I'm just going to tease that out a little bit more, and then what you do gently is you pull it out and then you gently just squish it back. Can you see that? So that you're sort of squishing it and still keeping this lovely kind of cylindrical shape. So then tease it out again, and then I am going to start tying my ribbon. And this is why it's a brilliant idea to stuff the contents of the cracker before you do this bit. You can indeed just do one end and then put stuff in from the other end, but I find it's better to load it at the beginning. Okay, let's have a look at that one. My ribbon's quite a bit big. So this is just a little bit fiddly, just to make sure that you, that's it, that's better. Now you can see my, this is why you need to have it ideally the length of the three widths, because otherwise then you end up with slightly shorter ends like I have. But that's what comes of me wanting to use this particular piece of paper. I'm just going to tie it like that. Okay, and then I'm going to pull my toilet roll out, and you can see the snap there. Okay, and then we do the same with the other side. So let's feel for where the gap is there. And you just gently crease around. This is the trickiest bit, otherwise it's really fairly straightforward. Yeah, just give it a little crinkle down like that. Okay, and then once you've made your little crinkle, it's easier to get your ribbon. And lucky the person who gets this one, because it has the gin in it. So, okay. That's it. And this one didn't crinkle. That one didn't crinkle down as much. There we go. Okay, so then we just tie it like that. And just check that we have actually, yep, got the gin in there. And we go over like that. And so there you have your fabulous, very personalized homemade cracker. And I think they make really beautiful gifts. They're fabulous to give away to somebody. I think again, you know, the basic little lantern again is really lovely. It can just go on somebody's you know, mantelpiece. You can put lots of lovely smelling candles or things like that in it. I just think it's beautiful. And then again, just with your personalized cards, and all of these things are, you know, they're made from recycled cards or paper or newspaper. There's so many things that you can do with stuff that we just have at home, including my lovely hat, which I might take off later. And just fun little ideas that you can do to, you know, just minimize your impact at Christmas. And I think what it does is it really helps to spread the message to other people that they can be mindful of their footprint and not just go out and buy things totally crazy, like 15 million crackers at Christmas. Hope everybody has a lovely Christmas and can celebrate despite the situation. And yeah, just get crafty. That certainly that certainly helps me with that bit of stress and stuff. So yeah, I hope everybody has a really good day.